Yes, well, back with you. Hello again, Jim Burns. What we got going on here today is the sad case of the E-unit. So what I found out was, I think the last time we got our motor running, in the last video, but since then I've checked over the E-unit here, and the coil was fine. No breaks in the coil. The problem was the pawl and the shaft were just so gummed up over, a millennia of work that it was just stuck up in there and wouldn't move freely. So I got that all cleaned up and got it all smooth. Now it goes up and down real nice. No problem, no catching anywhere along its travel. So that's good. I was happy to find out that that still worked. So now what we got to do is get a new drum in here. And so I pulled the frame apart here, and I use these. These are snap ring pliers, and these usually face downward, and then you insert these little round tips into a O-ring and spread it apart, put it over the part, let it go, and the O-ring snaps in place, or the snap ring snaps in place. But anyway, I use these to spread this apart, and it's got a little bit of a ratchet mechanism, so you can see how that works. And it's, easier for me to do than that tool that is made for separating the sides. I just push this in here and then just spread the pliers, and it'll separate that frame there. Okay, so if you remember the last time, our sad case of a drum. Oh, let me see if I can get this where we can see it here. Not too much trouble. Yeah, the teeth are bent, twisted, chewed up. The whole drum is chewed up, really. But see if I can get some more light this way on it. Yeah. Yeah, she's in sorry shape. You can see that one tooth is really bent over. A couple of them are. But anyway, we needed a new drum. The shaft ends here, they're all buggered up. So, I ordered a new drum. That's all we got here. Beautiful. This is a 3-position locomotive. We need a 3-position drum. I also got the fingers, new fingers. There's the 4-finger, the blue, and the yellow's the 2-finger for the bottom, plus the plate. But I don't think we need it, the new ones here, so we're gonna try and use the old ones because they're in very good shape. There's not much wrong with them. They were a little dirty, but I've cleaned that up. And since our last video, I've also cleaned up the motor. I'll post some pictures of me doing that. But it's all clean, oiled, greased. The gears are greased. All the shafts are oiled. The wheel bearings are oiled. The motor shaft is oiled. Another thing I did is, not sure you can see on here, but anywhere where there was fraying of the outer cloth insulation. I used this stuff here. It's liquid electric tape, and just brush it on all the wires, cover up all the cloth with this. It's flexible when it dries, so that covered up all our frayed areas and bare spots. So we can keep using this wiring here. It's no problem. This insulation, this brush-on insulation is very good stuff. So it'll last a long, long time. Okay, so anyhow, back to our E-unit here. The first thing we got to do, let me lay this down so the wires stay. There we go. The first thing we got to do is prop up our pole so we can work with this. I know a lot of guys and gals will fight with this frame quite a bit, trying to position all the pieces in place, you know, hoping against hope that they get all the tab A's into slot A's and the tab B's into slot B's. And the shaft of the pole. But instead of depending on luck and trying to hold pressure on this and keep it in place and, you know, fighting with it to get everything in position, because you got to get the shaft for the pole in this slot, your fingers in this slot, and the two fingers down in this slot. So what I do, you do it the way you want to, but I take these clamps. They're just plastic, but I got a bunch of these on eBay. They're real cheap. These are the smallest ones, and then they go up to the real big ones. The biggest ones I can't even open with these hands, so. But anyhow, all right, what I do is put this on there. Make sure that one pin that cinches everything together is close to the hole there. All right. Now, what we got to do, once that's in position, is check that our slot and our tab is in the right spot to go into there. That should be there, and that's there. See, now what this does is this keeps a constant pressure on the cage here, so you're not fighting then to put the next piece in, you know. So we keep this toothpick in place to keep the pole arm out of the way. Okay. All right, so the four fingers are now in place. Okay. And then the drum, got to make sure the teeth are pointing downward, otherwise the pole won't pick it up, you know, and turn it. So if we just push this in here, get our tweezers here. All right, we'll guide that. Oh, see, I was putting it in the wrong way. There we go. Got to make sure those teeth are facing downward. right, now that's in that hole. Hold that in place. And so we're just pushing against spring pressure here of this clamp. I think our bar got out of position here, not letting it. There we go. I think that did it. Yeah. Now we're just pushing against the clamp spring pressure. And there it is. It's in there. Not fully yet, but because we still got one more piece to put in. And that piece is our 2 fingers. And that goes into these slots here at the bottom. You can see those right there. Okay, make sure you got it so the fingers are touching the drum. Guide it into this one. Into that slot. And then get this down in there, into that slot. And if everything worked out okay, this should snap back closed. Sometimes it'll click, other times it doesn't. It just pushes back together. But you can see now the shaft is on an even plane with the case here. Okay, so our 2 finger, the tab is fully seated. That one's fully seated. The 4 finger tab is fully seated on both sides. Our shaft, let's make sure that goes. Yep, it's turning, it's going up, riding up its slot and turning the drum. All right. So before we put it together and test it, let's make absolutely sure that it works. Let's plug in our transformer here. Yeah, but that clamp makes it a lot easier to put this together instead of fighting with those cages, you know, trying to guide everything in and keep pressure on with your fingers. And trust me, this clamp works great. All right, we're plugged in. Let's put our ground on. There's that. Let's get this. Let's get some power on. And there you go. I'm hitting the ground, that's why that's happening. Hang on, let me do it this way. Let's put the bigger clamp on here. And we'll use the smaller one to touch this side. Kind of hard to see, but you can see the drum is turning. Everything's working. All right. So if that's the case, turn our power off, put our clamps back in their home. Yeah, if that's the case, then we should be able to Let's see, guide this puppy back into place. There it is. Get it back in its home here. Make sure we're not pinching any wires. Okay. Let's get our screw in here. Get our tweezers again. Always helpful to have a pair of tweezers around. Alright. Get that up into position. Grab our screwdriver. Alright. Okay, she's mounted. We'll take care of the wiring, get it all prettied up after we test this here. And like I say, everything's cleaned and oiled up, greased up. So let's put our power leads back on. Put this on. I also cleaned the rollers and the plate. Everything's clean. Alright. And then what do we need? We need a ground or a common. Alright. So let's see if she works, huh? Nope. What did I do? Oh, there we are. She's got cruising there, and that's just halfway on the transformer. All right. There's reverse. Neutral. Reverse. Neutral. Forward. Excellent. Neutral. Reverse. Neutral. Forward. Good Lord, she's cruising. That's just barely on, and she's, of course, now wonderful. The shell is on and get all the weight back on it. See if our bulb is still working. Might have come loose. Oh no, there it is. So that's working. All right. You can even see the shaft. See, it's in neutral now. Shaft dropped back down. I don't know. You can see it in there moving up and down. That operates the pole. Drop back down. neutral, forward, back down, neutral again, reverse. All right, I call this a successful operation here. Huh? I'm loving that. Love it when a plan comes together. All right, so we're all set with the motor. Now we just got a lot of parts coming in the mail. So once they're all in, I'll bring you back and we'll talk about all the stuff that was broken, needs replaced. But for now, we got ourselves a working motor assembly. Yes, sir. Foo-da. All right, excellent. See you in the next one. Toodles.